the homeless, budget cuts threaten the shelter that is already in high demand. Hello everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Julie Lund. A major county budget cut planned for the Salvation Army's emergency shelter could leave hundreds of families out in the cold next year. As Greg Newman tells us, the shortfall could impact those who need help the most.
At its current funding level of $92,000 a year, the Salvation Army's warming house still ends up turning away hundreds of homeless families every month. The tentative Dane County budget for next year would strip $50,000 of that money from the shelter, forcing the Salvation Army to close it from April through November. That's when more families become homeless because landlords are allowed to evict them, which they are not allowed to do in the winter months. And the need is great. In August alone, the shelter turned away over 400 people.
We're the last resort. Families come here when they don't have anywhere else to go, and when we're denying, hundreds of people a month and multiple families. Like the Stevens family, they're sleeping in a car or finding an abandoned building, and some families are literally sleeping in the streets.
District 2 County Supervisor Barb Vetter suggests raising vehicle registration fees to keep the shelter's funding at its current level, but that will likely be met with opposition. Dane County is facing an $8 billion shortfall for 2012. County Executive Joe Parisi is expected to submit his final budget to the Board of Supervisors by the end of the month. Julie?
All right, thanks, Greg. We now know the identity of the child killed in the rollover crash near Stoughton yesterday. 9-year-old Alonzo Stevenson of St. Paul was ejected from the SUV on I-90 around 3:45 in the morning. The State Patrol says the 50-year-old driver from Tucson fell asleep at the wheel and overcorrected when the car hit the rumble strip. 2 other passengers in the SUV were also injured. We also know the identity of the man who died following a double shooting on Madison's east side Thursday. 24-year-old James Keith of Madison passed away at UW Hospital Friday. Keith and another man were shot in the 1700 block of Fordham Avenue in what police said was a drug deal that turned violent. The other man's injuries are not life-threatening. 3 people are facing charges. This is Madison's 6th homicide of the year, and there were 2 in all of last year. 5 people are injured after a house fire in Racine County this morning destroyed a home on Breedy Point Road in Wind Lake. 5 people suffered smoke-related injuries. Firefighters are still investigating the cause. Well, today rain is helping firefighters still battling a wildfire in Minnesota. As this afternoon, the 147 square mile fire was 11% contained, mostly on the northwestern and southern edges that are closest to homes and cabins just outside the Boundary Waters Canoe area. The wind is expected to kick up again tomorrow, though, which could blow smoke back over Lake Superior. 565 people are fighting the fire. Myers staying by this evening, Bob. Kind of a gloomy, rainy sun. Good for sitting inside watching football.
It was an ideal day to watch the Packers win a football game, no doubt about it, Julie. And a day that we have had in some time. We've really had a long stretch of dry weather. Indeed, we had 14 consecutive days of dry weather, 2 full weeks leading into today. Boy, we had some rainy weather today. Here we are 18 hours ago, just some light showers. And went through the latter part of the morning, the showers became more numerous. Then in the afternoon and evening, we had widespread numerous showers, which are starting to break up a little bit again. Measurable rainfall amounts. Madison came in with over a quarter-inch rain, as did Little Rock. Monroe about 2/10 of an inch, Baraboo at 1/10 of an inch total rainfall. Right now we did have drizzly weather conditions in Madison. We're at 60 degrees, humidity at 93%. Forecast for tonight, cloudy skies. The scattered showers will gradually come to an end, low 56. Really, there's really some pleasant weather to follow this wet night. I'll tell you more about that later.
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks, Bob. Well, the Packers get their 2nd win of the season, but lose a key player to injury. Jamie Hirsch joins us with more in tonight.
Well, Julie, it might not have been as convincing a win as the Packers would have liked. They get a W and improve to 2-0 on the season. The Packers were actually down at halftime, but they strike early in the 3rd quarter. Rodgers went deep. Greg Jennings, that's a 49-yard touchdown, and Green Bay will take the lead. Cam Newton started off strong for the Panthers, but the Packers D eventually stepped up. Charles Woodson getting his 2nd pick of the day in the 3rd. Newton had 3 interceptions today, but it wasn't that all good for the Pack. Nick Collins would suffer a neck injury on this play. You can see his head going hard into the leg of Jonathan Stewart. Collins had to leave on a stretcher. Packers say he does have complete healing in his extremities. Panthers within a touchdown, looking for a stop late in the 4th, but Jordy Nelson put an end to those hopes. He takes it 84 yards for the touchdown. The Packers win 30-23 over the Panthers, and we'll hear from quarterback Aaron Rodgers on getting that first road win coming up later in sports. Julie?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Amy. 1,000 people turned out this morning for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. The group pounded the pavement from Monona Terrace to Owen Park, all to raise money to fight the disease that affects 100,000 people in Wisconsin. Blind people walked in rain, also make a statement to raise awareness of Alzheimer's and all of the people it affects.
I think that walks like it's definitely help bring cause to people's mind and help them understand that it is an important thing that they need to get behind and they need to help support.
The walk raised almost $100,000. The money pays for support, including a 24/7 helpline and education, and also funds critical research. And look at that, Fox 47 is a proud sponsor of the event. 2 fatal air show crashes in 2 days. Coming up, talking safety with a spokesperson Hoffman from EAA in Oshkosh. Plus, is the Circle of Life when the Lion King at the top of the box office? We'll find out coming up. The president is proposing a new tax rate for millionaires to help cut the deficit. President Obama will release the plan tomorrow that includes what's called Buffett Rule, which sets a minimum tax rate for the wealthiest Americans. It's named after billionaire investor Warren Buffett, who often says that wealthy Americans don't pay enough in taxes. On Fox News Sunday today, though, Congressman Paul Ryan said we need spending cuts, not more tax increases.
Class warfare, Chris, may make for really good politics, but it makes for rotten economics. We don't need a system that seeks to divide people. We don't need a system that seeks to prey on people's fear, envy, anxiety. We need a system that creates job and innovation and removes these barriers for entrepreneurs to go out and rehire people. But I'm afraid these kinds of tax increases don't work.
The new tax plan would affect less than 1% of taxpayers. Safety at air shows is in question following 2 deadly crashes in 2 days. In Reno, Friday, a vintage plane plummeted to the ground, as you can see, shattering, pelting onlookers with debris. The pilot and 8 people died. 70 others were injured, some of them critically. Now, the very next day, post-World War II plane crashed during an air show in West Virginia, killing the pilot. 74-year-old Jimmy Leeward is the pilot who died in that Reno crash. He served as EAA director and board member in Oshkosh for decades, but officials there say the Reno event is nothing like EAA.
There are certain classifications of aircraft that are simply built for speed, and where Jimmy raced was in the limited class, which is he had a prop airplane to go as fast as it can go. It's something that does not occur here at Oshkosh or other air shows, nor does it occur at Fly-ins. It simply is done in places except at Reno.
Before that Reno crash, there had not been a spectator killed at an air race or air show since the 1950s. 2 lifelong friends and former Marines from Pulaski finished a journey this afternoon. Shannon Anker and Chad Heinz walked 100 miles from Wausau all the way to Green Bay, all to raise money to send care packages to troops serving overseas.
Our brothers and sisters that are overseas right now, that's the least we can do, is to get a little bit of taste. And then in the process, help them out some.
The 2 walked 12 to 18 hours a day every day since Thursday, stopping only camp. They raised $1,000, and then the Green Bay Fire Department pitched in another $1,000 today. Coming up, it's a day that's gone to the dogs in more ways than one. We'll explain that coming up after weather.
My bad.